is in the know for Monday, July 15, the 197th day of 2024. There are 169 days left of the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 1039 The Moose. Live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app, using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast, on Facebook, on YouTube, on the platform formerly known as Twitter. And the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. Got the water cooler question, that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm hungry.
You're hungry?
I am.
Okay. Maybe a little honey. Would you like to have some honey for breakfast?
Well, yeah, that would
That
work.
be possible.
Well, I had some the other morning because of my throat.
The reason that I ask you is because in the category of home remedies, you don't always have a first aid kit handy. You can use honey for cuts.
Oh,
It's an antioxidant and antibacterial properties to help cleanse and heal cuts. So you use some.
I did not
You
know
use some
that.
honey, and it can be used as a home remedy. So it's good for all kinds of types of things. I had a conversation with Uncle Joe about honey last weekend. He was giving me the lowdown on all that. He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio News Hawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley and the sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Well, not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing fine. On the other end of the honey being used for cuts, if you get stung by a bee, a little dab of toothpaste, little dab of toothpaste there on your bee sting. You ever get chased by bees, Sam?
I've only been stung by like a sweat bee, and I've swollen up pretty decent on that. And I know that my dad is allergic, so I'm aware. Bees are not
Please
necessarily
knock on
something.
something wood right now, Sam.
Yeah, knock on
Right?
something. It's
Yeah, I don't. So I'm hoping
Use all the
that
honey
I don't
remedies.
get stung because I don't know what my reaction might be.
well, and maybe travel tube just in case you get stung. You put a little dab on there, and as they say, little dab will do you. Dangerous heat today. We're going to see heat and humidity start the week. Highs in the 90s. The heat in I wouldn't call it cold, but sunny and hot today. High of 97. Mostly clear. 78 tonight. Scattered thunderstorms 95 for tomorrow, and then our chances of thunderstorms increase into the next week. You can see into early next week, and it looks like a significant chance of rain each day of the week next week. So you have to be in maybe water mode a few days this week if you got things that you're trying to protect. So
Well, my garden needs more rain. So.
definitely, Sam, you still with us?
I am. You all broke up there for a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting. I'd like to kick Elon Musk in the tail, but that's okay. Not for the reasons you would, but just for completely different reasons. Let's get to the biggest news of the day. Obviously, it's dominated the news cycle the entire weekend, at least from Saturday evening forward, and that is the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump at his rally in Pennsylvania. It seemed almost surreal in the moment. I was watching something else, and I had a colleague of mine sort of tip me off that something was happening, and went ahead and sent me the iconic photograph that we've all seen now with the blood coming from the right ear down through the cheek. And so I immediately switched over and started consuming news, and so much chaos even early on. Not sure who, where, how, when, why. And then as the minutes go, You start to learn a little bit more. Things come into a little more clarity. And then you go through in a situation like this, you almost go through the classic stages of grief, or the classic stages of loss, even though this was not a human loss. It felt, first there's shock, then there's inquisitiveness, then there's fear, then there's anger. And so we're sort of, now that we're 36 hours away from this, I think you're starting to see some of the, I don't know if I would call it anger, but there's clearly a lot of finger pointing now going back and forth, even though the messaging that you're hearing is we need to simmer down the rhetoric. We need to change the way that we're talking about one another and to one another. And but then there's a lot of questions of, well, how did this happen? And who's responsible for allowing it to happen? We presume these events would be protected, safe. They've fully vetted all the places where ne'er-do-wells or bad actors could inflict terror. And so there's just a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking on this now that it's hard to know who to trust and who to believe. You know, and they say, well, this was done and that was done. And they tried to downsize his protection. And there was somebody who wanted him to not even have Secret Service protection. I don't know if that's while he was a candidate or not. But there's just so much of going back and saying, well, yeah, but you said, oh, yeah, but you said, or you tweeted. And so, but the fact of the matter is, we are where we are. And it's a sad state of affairs where we are for America. The finger pointing is going to continue. The people who have been anti-Trump to this point, to this weekend, they have had to be very careful about what they say. But even some of your, you know, ABC is getting a black eye today for being almost victim blaming in certain ways. And I'm not sure that we're not all have some responsibility in this. I think you hear me say many times, there is enough blame to go around for lots of different people. And you have to start with the person in the mirror and then work your way out from there. We don't have I thought Rick Burgess said it pretty well this morning. We don't really have a Republican problem and we don't have a Democratic problem. We have a sin and an evil problem is what we have. And we need to figure out how to remedy those things if we want our nation to get back to some semblance of what we have known it to be, what we would hope for it to be, and what we expect it to be. Sam, when did you learn on Saturday what had happened?
I guess when everyone else did.
Yeah.
But for me, it was...
You clearly weren't watching the rally, but something had to trip your wire.
I can guarantee that was not happening. I don't watch any political rally on my Saturday, afternoon, evening, whenever it is. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
That was maybe an hour and a half late
Something like
to
that.
the game.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it pretty much. I guess I might have been on Twitter when I saw it. But for me, it was like one of those things that it was almost immediately... Because obviously I was not alive when Ronald Reagan got shot, but there was the moments where you were like, well, is he okay? Like, you know, what is going to happen? With this, though, I mean, you saw him and, like, you were like, okay, he's fine. Like, you could pretty much tell right away based on just the pictures and so on because it looked like it was just coming from his ear, and you would think, okay, everything's okay there. So it was almost more of a, like, you didn't... At least I didn't have that aspect of it that probably happened in 81 and some of the other assassination attempts, obviously.
Well, so it's interesting how social media is both the best and the worst thing. When John Hinckley shot President Reagan, most of us weren't watching it live in real time because it wasn't newsworthy at the time. He was going from one building, and that situation changed a lot of things for the Secret Service, by the way. But we got someone came on TV, whether it was Walter Cronkite or whoever, and says, President Reagan has been shot in Washington. And they don't really know much more than that other than the initial bulletin. For me, what I got was a screen grab of a story that said, President Trump unharmed or President Trump is safe following assassination attempt or shooting at rally in Pennsylvania. So the news came to me as he's okay. It wasn't there's been a shooting. Did anyone die? Did he die? Etc. So I didn't have those moments where you go, wow, is he alive? It was the initial news to me was he's alive and there has been a shooting, and then that's when it took me a while before I actually saw the whole sequence of events that had happened in real time, where you can see him turn and grab his ear, etc. And so it was just different than what we would have observed before historically when there was one source of information. The downside of that is everybody wants to be an expert. Everybody claims to know something that they really don't, and you don't know who to trust. You don't know, is this true? You start seeing these things leak out, like one of the counter snipers makes a statement. None of that pans out to be true, I don't believe, but nonetheless, what were you thought you were being joked with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, so I was watching one of my shows and I had actually been napping, and I woke up to a text message from my best friend, and I was like, are you kidding me? And she's like, no, I'm not. Has Mark not told you? And I'm like, well, I just woke up. So I came upstairs, and sure enough, it was on the television. But the guy that was being interviewed at the time, when I was sitting there, he was there. You could tell that the news anchor, she was struggling a little bit, but I cannot imagine what that would feel like to be the news anchor. Like the boots on the ground, if you will, to interview those people after something like that has happened.
It's pretty
So,
chaotic.
Yes.
Yeah. And the communication between the studio and out in the field
And
is
they,
hard.
yeah,
and
they
just,
had trouble with that, but
It's pretty raw.
it was, I thought she was kidding.
A lot of the people that I heard, including former President Trump, immediately talked about, and they couldn't name him at the time, but we now know the rally goer who was killed Corey Comparatore, who is a former fire chief in the area who died a hero. He dove on his family to protect them, and there were two other wounded bystanders listed in stable condition. I think one I heard this morning on from a pretty good source was in some type of induced coma, but stable is my understanding. Perhaps it's a swelling issue or something. Thomas Matthew Crooks, age 20, of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Once they get into his phone, they will, and I think it's at Quantico, and they may know things that we aren't aware of yet. They will understand more whether he was a single actor, who he was communicating with. Pretty immediately, some people were trying to draw deductions and say, well, he's a registered Republican. Well, that might very well be, but we do know that there, in closed primaries in certain states, people were encouraged, and may still be and haven't changed back yet, encouraged to change parties prior to the primary so they could influence the other party's primary election. They do know there's a link between he and some, I'll use the word radical causes. I think it's clear to label this guy as radical, but he's, I don't think that he is some traditional conservative and then suddenly decided that he was against the cause. But we'll learn more. Now you've got the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee that gets underway today. And what probably was going to be a routine convention is now anything but, as eyes will be on it. So nonetheless, so that's the big news of the day, and will continue to be the big news of the day. Here in the Commonwealth, we've got a bunch of new laws that are becoming official today. The legislature, they wrapped up on April 15, and the Constitution states that laws that are passed in that session go into effect 90 days after the adjournment of the session, unless otherwise specified. So that makes July 15. But there's a story at K105.com that has a pretty detailed list of all of them. But things like adoption records, autonomous vehicles, child care subsidies, civics education. It's the Kentucky Board of Education is being called on to create academic standards for civic literacy in high schools. Cursive handwriting.
Well, this is actually one of the things I spent most of my time on this morning. I mean, considering all the things I do from 5 a.m. This is the one that I spent the most time on. It's pretty interesting.
You were trying to become aware to see what laws you might be
What, the-
A
breaking.
little bit, yeah.
The cursive
Other than
one?
Ice cream in my pocket.
The cursive
I
one.
did pause on that one. Sam.
Such
I
a
did.
waste of time. A waste of time.
Elementary schools to teach cursive handwriting and ensure the students are proficient in cursive by the
Waste
end of the
of
fifth grade.
time.
Gas stations, House Bill 581 prevents local governments from passing or enforcing rules that treat retail gas stations differently from electric vehicle charging stations. I had never heard of this before. Kratom, Kratom, House Bill 293 aims to regulate kratom, which is an herbal drug frequently sold online and in convenience stores. The bill prohibits sales to people under 21, provides guidelines for manufacturing and label the product. So it's like fake marijuana again. This is all
It's
these.
worse than that.
It's worse than
It
that.
is far worse than that, and it doesn't need to be regulated. It needs to be gone.
Eliminated.
Yes.
Medical cannabis. Has to do with the application of the business licenses, state enforcement, etc. Do we now officially have a new official state rock? We had it mixed up before. Our state rock was a mineral and our mineral was a rock, or vice versa. We now have, it changes the official state rock from Kentucky agate to coal. So it's now officially coal.
Agate, is that right, Sam?
Agate, yeah.
Something like that, I think.
School bus behavior means you got to do it now. And window tinting, you got to untint all your windows. No, that's not true. Windshield tinting on vehicles as long as at least 70% of light can still pass through the material. Some people have gotten way out of control on that. They think it's a gray area, like everything gets a little bit darker and a little bit darker. So basically you can only tint up to 30% now. And something relative to youth medical records. So anyway, there's a big list. I think in total there were 200 bills passed by the legislature, and I don't know that there's 200 laws, but there's a bunch of laws, and you might.
I found it
try
very
and
interesting.
read yourself.
But it is quite a bit to consume.
Yeah.
But you need the time to.
Well, if you're looking
you're
for things to do
interested,
on
yeah.
a Monday, then that certainly could be it. What else to tell you about? Ryan Waldschmidt is now an Arizona Diamondback, taken in the MLB draft. He played for the Cats this last season. Harry Hall chipped in for birdie from 45 feet on the third playoff hole to win the ISCO championship it's Nicholasville technically, but we call it the Lexington area. Barbara Krejcikova won Wimbledon on Saturday. And then Carlos Alcaraz won Wimbledon yesterday. He has won 4 Grand Slam titles in 4 tries. So he has.
And he's like 21, isn't he?
Yeah, he's young. And I don't know that anybody's ever won their first 4 major finals to go 4-0. So that's remarkable. I didn't see what the Reds did yesterday ahead of the All-Star break. I know they won Saturday. I guess they won Friday and Saturday because I know they took the series over the Marlins.
Yeah,
They
they
won 10-6 on Saturday. What'd they do yesterday?
they lost 3-2. Good game.
3-2, but
Just
still won the series.
yep, on the series. Announced the All Star break, but it's been the Reese Hines show. They brought up their prospect, and he had a record-breaking.
Who's Reese Hines?
He's
Tell me who.
he's been one of their prospects for a while, and he kind of had fallen off a little bit, and people had thought, well, and as you know in baseball, sometimes prospects just don't work. For whatever reason, he battled a lot of injuries. They brought him up because they just needed somebody that could hit the ball, and he's hit the ball. He's had five home runs this week. He's probably going to be the National League Player of the Week in his first week in the major leagues, which is pretty darn impressive.
Did he get called up from Louisville, or did he jump
Louisville.
over Louisville?
Louisville.
He did. Yeah, so he was playing down there. Oh, very good. All right, so the home run derby is tonight, and All-Star game tomorrow night down in Texas, out at Arlington, matter of fact, where the All-Star game is. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got plenty more on the way. Hang around here on In the Know.
Comfort is everlasting. Comfort is a journey that sees no end. Every moment is a memory. Every encounter, a piece. Empathy may be our foundation, but comfort is the heart that continues. The Watkins Funeral Home Legacy, a steadfast tradition from our very first service to our most recent farewell, guided by Dave and Jordan Atwell.
Hello, friends. My name is Reagan Atwell. My parents take good care of me and my little sister. They'll do the same for your family.
Discover more online at rogers-watkins.com or experience the Watkins difference personally on North Main in Litchfield.
Everybody get ready, time to start a new day. Let's hit the ground running in a healthy way. Take a first at the fitness, even if it's just a little. Soon you'll be feeling just as fit as a fiddle. Fit as a fiddle on a July night. I walk around town, make you feel alright. Take the first at the fitness, even if it's just a little. Soon you'll be feeling just as fit as a fiddle.
Community Health Partners want you to be as fit as a fiddle.
Yellowwood knows that a five-star backyard is the place to make lasting memories. Like cookouts. Cornhole with friends. Ooh, a neighborhood potluck with your wife's pasta salad. The one with the feta. Oh, sorry. Or taking a nap on your deck in a hammock. Naps are memories. I love naps. For five-star backyards and the most memorable experiences, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have that yellow tag, you don't want it.
Cool off this summer at Litchfield Aquatic Center, featuring 2 3-story slides, or grab a tube and take a trip down the lazy river. There's separate tot and toddler pools with lots of great water features like fountains and slides. Plus there's even a lap lane. LAC is great for groups or individuals, and pavilion and facility rentals are available. Get a group of friends or the whole family together and spend an entire day at the Litchfield Aquatic Center on East Carroll Gibson Boulevard in Litchfield.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start August 19th. Visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, college for the real world.
When caring for a family member, their state of health is continually on your mind. And when they're faced with a health concern, you'll do just about anything to make them feel better. Rest assured, their Feel Better starts right here at Midway Pharmacy. We take our time to get to know all about your family's health history so we can provide you with educated advice. So when someone's counting on you to help them maintain a healthy lifestyle or to overcome that untimely sickness, remember, your Feel Better starts here at Midway Pharmacy.
AT&T believes that a hacker has stolen records of calls and texts from almost all of its wireless customers. NBC's Tom Costello reports.
The breach was massive, affecting nearly 110 million wireless devices. AT&T says it learned in April that hackers had accessed logs of phone calls and texts between May and October of 2022.
It also affected a small portion of customers in January of 2023. The company announced on Friday morning that the stolen data doesn't include the content of calls or texts or personal info like social security numbers or birth dates. It does include which numbers a customer interacted with and data like how long a call lasted. The company learned of the hack in April but was asked by the FBI not to make it public due to national security concerns. AT&T says it's working with law enforcement and that at least one person has been apprehended. And European Union privacy regulators have ruled that X is breaching several content rules. They could be fined up to 6% of their annual income. Tech Report, Mark Mayfield, NBC News.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. To learn more about ending child hunger in America, Go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind.
Today is Be a Dork Day.
Yay.
Done. Gummy Worm Day.
I do love gummy worms.
Orange Chicken Day. And Give Something Away Day.
Well, we give away knowledge every day.
We do give away knowledge.
Look at you, Sam.
By the way, smiles. You can give away smiles.
Well, I don't guarantee we do that every day.
Smiles are smile. You don't have to make people smile. You can give them a smile. Show them a smile. Give it to them, whether they take it or not. That's completely up to them. That's all I can say. Study says that diet sodas, hot dogs, and other ultra-processed foods are worse for you than you think. There are, some various types of
I could have told him that.
processed foods. Say again?
I said I could have told him that.
Yeah, I was sitting
Yeah.
here thinking, really?
Well,
You shouldn't eat hot dogs and fried foods? Really?
Well, there's processed foods, and then there's ultra processed, and that's, I think, what they're trying to draw our attention to is a lot of the foods we eat are processed in some ways, but the ultra processed ones are, and that are most concerning, are diet sodas, sugary sodas, refined grains like ultra processed breads and baked goods, processed meats like hot dogs and sausages.
I'm assuming bologna falls in there.
Well, they did not specifically list bologna, but I would
If a hot dog is, then bologna is.
the
Yeah,
premise would be similar. I don't ever look at the hog and go, "Oh, there's the bologna cut." That's just
It's
not
right
really
next to
how-
the hot dog cut.
Right, not really how it works. Now, dietitians say you still don't need to entirely avoid these foods, but like with most things, just kind of keep them in moderation and don't deprive yourself of a good hot dog. Just make sure you fix it up right.
Ketchup and mustard. Or maybe some Skyline chili.
I knew it.
Apple cider vinegar is not the secret ingredient to weight loss. For a few years now, apple cider vinegar has been touted as a health elixir capable of anything from curing diabetes to detoxing your body. It's also said to be the secret key to weight loss that many people have been searching for. In reality, there's no concrete evidence or reasoning for any of these claims, but some people, it's not going to change their mind. They're going to do it anyway.
Well, and I sort of disagree because I think it's like 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in the mornings. Listen, you're not going to want to eat anything for quite some time after consuming that. So
Yeah.
maybe
Well, the secret to weight loss, I'll tell you the secret. Are you ready for the secret?
it's going to be like nobody knows, right?
No, the secret.
Newsflash.
I'm going to give you the secret. Like you can take it to the bank. Eating healthy, exercising, and getting adequate sleep. That's the
Again,
secret to weight loss.
Nobody knew that.
Should you include apple cider vinegar in your diet? It probably won't be the thing that helps you shed excess weight, but because you got to have a good grasp on all those other things too. But in concert with the other things that you're doing, it's pretty harmless. Just don't think it's not a magic elixir where you can just take it and then sit and wait and go, nothing's happening. Okay, well,
You also can't take it and then eat biscuits and gravy or whatever else. I mean, it's not going to
I mean,
combat
you
that.
you can. It's just
You
it's
can.
it's probably going to offset
It's not
the.
going to work.
might be ineffective. What is your favorite filler word when you can't come up with the word you want to say?
Oh, goodness.
I don't
That
think
may be one of them.
can't say it on air, right?
Yeah, she can say it.
Oh, I was saying mine.
I'm not sure. Do you say doomahickey? Do you say a word like that? Is there a
Whatchamacallit? A thingamabob? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Those are two very popular ones.
Okay.
There's gizmo, whatchamacallit, thingamajig. So humans have been speaking for about 50,000 years, according to this. And there are different ways of dealing with the problem of not being able to remember the name of an object, a place, or a person that we want to talk about. When you think about the complexity of the brain and all of the data that it has to, you can sometimes hear your hard drive spinning on your computer. Your brain works in the same way. It's got to go recall that word that you associate with what you want to say. So your memory bank and your verbal skills have to match up together. When you think about the speed that it takes to carry on a conversation and form a thought, well, sometimes your hard drive makes funny noises
Yes.
when it's trying to spin to a particular platter. Well, your brain does the same thing, and that's how you end up with or these filler words.
Well, I think when I'm talking to you, because it's you, I use my hands and I go, you know what I mean, or you know what I'm talking about, or I don't.
One of the things that I hear that stands out to me more and more, and I'm not.
It's okay.
No, it's not. It's not you. But I hear it now in people that I didn't ever hear it before. When they get to the end of a phrase and they say "and whatnot," right? They get to the and whatnot. You could have just stopped before "and whatnot." You just could have. So now I hear that, I go, ooh, and whatnot. But I think it just. I don't think people are choosing to do it. I just think it becomes something that they turn to. So ready-made placeholders, thingamajig, whatchamacallit. Whatchamacallit got to be such an important word in our society that they made a candy bar
And I would love to have one
from
right
it.
now.
They are so good.
Right.
By the way, I didn't know till this morning that Hershey's makes a chocolate bar called a whatchamacallit, which is very good. But they also make a Whoozy What's It.
No.
A what?
That's what it says. It says whatchamacallits and Whoozy What's It. They are chocolate bars made by Hershey's.
All right, spell it.
WHOZEEWHATZITS. Whoozy What's It.
Well, I hope that's a large candy bar.
I hope it's a bigger whatchamacallit.
Right.
I hope it's a king size.
I'm so gonna look for
Watch
these.
it.
Oh,
today at the store.
I'm looking at a picture of it. I've never seen this. Chocolate.
How is it this has not?
Chocolatey crisps and peanut butter candy bar.
So it's a chocolate version of the whatchamacallit because the whatchamacallit is a lighter colored of the crisp. So this would be a dark chocolate or a dark version of the. How come these haven't found their way to the Southeast? I feel like I've sort of been deprived. There's another word that I don't use, but around the world people use words like these. There's doomaflitchie, which we do use here. But the Dutch word is huppeldepup.
That's fun.
Huppeldepup. And the German word is dingsda-bumsda.
That's too hard.
It's too many syllables.
Dingsda-boomsda. Dingsda-boomsda.
I like the other one.
Huppeldepup? Okay. Well, whatchamacallit.
Who's he? What's it?
What state laughs the most?
California. Way off?
Yeah, way off.
I have Georgia.
Maine.
Louisiana.
Oh,
Aye, those Cajuns.
there we go.
They laugh a
That
lot.
that makes sense.
Who laughs the least?
Is it California since you're saying it that way?
No, but I bet they're low on the list.
Oregon.
Rhode Island.
Vermont. Have you met Bernie Sanders? I mean, just take one look at Bernie Sanders.
Listen.
And you go.
I disagree. I have a friend from Vermont that I went to college with, and he laughed plenty of times.
He's the only hyena. He's the only hyena in the whole.
Well, maybe he takes it all. That would explain a lot.
The rest are Bernie Sanders. We got to get to a break. Today's water cooler question. Your chance to win. Coming up here on In the Know.
Smith Overhead Door is redefining entryways in Litchfield, where every click of the remote promises reliability. It's not just about opening doors, it's about lasting assurance. We offer a service that inspects each part, making sure your door system thrives. With our service agreement with inspections up to 4 times a year, we spot the signs of wear before they whisper a problem, saving you more than just peace of mind. Opt for a 2-year plan and the savings rise. Make sure you get out the door with Smith Overhead Door at sohd.info. We're not just opening doors, we're opening possibilities.
Looking for exciting summer fun? Don't spend long hours in the car and a fortune on gas and travel. This summer, play close to home. Beach Bend Park, just minutes away in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Enjoy dozens of family rides, thrill rides, water slides, and more than 1 million gallons of water park fun in Splash Lagoon. Surf the waves, float the lazy river, splash and play on Tiki Island and our interactive attractions, or just relax in your own private cabana. Spend time on the rides, not standing in lines. Hop on the awesome Kentucky Rumbler Coaster for over a half mile of exciting twists and turns and enjoy classic rides, sure to please the whole family. Stay for daily shows, Gold Rush Golf, games, food and treats. Book the ultimate birthday party, group outing, or corporate event at Beach Bend. Check out our online calendar for Water Wednesdays and Friday Night Lights, featuring fireworks and special shows. At Beach Bend, parking and sunscreen are always free. So much fun, so close to home. Visit beachbend.com for discounts.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start August 19th. Visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, college for the real world.
Do you know what red flags to look for when considering an investment opportunity? Fraudulent sellers might make unsolicited contact, tell you everyone is buying it, and pressure you to invest right now. They make hefty promises over the phone, but never put them in writing. At the Department of Financial Institutions, we have a saying: if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. We're on a mission to educate Team Kentucky and protect your hard-earned dollars. Visit us online at kfi.ky.gov for more information.
I'm Deputy Eric Franklin with the Grayson County Sheriff's Department.
And I'm Officer Skaggs from Litchfield Police Department.
When working traffic in Grayson County, responding to crashes involving deaths or injuries is the toughest part of our job.
When you drive, there's so much out of your control.
But what you do have control over is wearing a seatbelt.
Less than 2 seconds, that's all the time it takes to buckle up.
Why do we enforce seatbelt laws?
It's not about writing tickets, it's about saving lives.
Always, buckle up.
A message from Team Kentucky and the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
Congratulations on graduating, class of 2024. It's not too late to file the 2024-25 FAFSA. And even better, there's help. Every Wednesday in June from 2 to 4 local time, there will be over 75 locations where you can receive assistance submitting your FAFSA. Don't let this school year sneak up on you. Get FAFSA help soon. For more information and a list of locations, visit KentuckyGoesToCollege.com. Brought to you by this station and Kentucky Broadcasters Association.
K105 weather from the Wave Storm Tracking Team is brought to you by Smith Overhead Door, sohd.info.
Twin Lakes weather. Our Monday will be sunny and hot with highs in the mid to upper 90s, heat index values near 105 degrees at times. Once we head into tonight, mostly clear skies, and we'll try to cool off into the 70s across the region. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrews.
The 105 Days of Summer is powered by Litchfield Exterminating here on the Twin Lakes Best Mix K105.
Slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile, but
Did you know
you're so smart. Tell me
sleeping
why
next to someone you love makes you fall asleep faster, reduces depression, and helps you live longer?
cool it off before you burn it out. You got so much to do.
Did you
and
know?
only so many hours
Now
in a
you do.
day.
It makes sense.
I'm going to tell you a story about this Billy Joel single in a moment. It's Vienna. Let's see. Oh, here's today's water cooler.
When will you realize Vienna waits for you?
Today's water cooler question. If you or your household have not won in the last 30 days and you're 18 years of age or older, you qualify to win. You are going to text your response to 270-259-6000. 270-259-6000 is where you're going to send your response. What do you want to give away today?
I think we need to do some more Holiday World.
All right, Holiday World up for grabs. 2 tickets to Holiday World if you can be successful. And the question is, the most likely time this will happen in your home is 8 a.m. The most likely time this will happen in your home is 8 a.m. The most likely time that will happen in your home is 8 a.m. 270-259-6000. Holiday World tickets are up for grabs. Sam is staring off into space. He's stumped.
No, I don't think I'm right, but I got one.
Well,
You got one?
so do I, but the timing here for us may not work out. So
Might be hard. Not surprising. Despicable Me 4 wins the weekend box office again. We predicted that it would. It held off Longlegs, the horror flick. It did $22 million to come in second place. Inside Out 2, just behind that at 3. A Quiet Place at 4. Fly Me to the Moon was at 5. So Longlegs and Fly Me to the Moon, 2 new offerings over the weekend, come in at 2nd and 5th. Despicable Me 4 hanging on with $44.7 million. The song you heard coming out of the break was Billy Joel.
You can't be everything you wanna be.
So it's a 50-year-old song. It was a B-side to Just the Way You Are. It was on the Strangers album. But this is now one of his most streamed songs. He does it live a lot. It's one of his favorites that he says.
all right, so what year again?
77.
Okay.
So when will you realize Vienna waits for you? He says it's a coming-of-age song.
But don't imagine they'll all come true. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you?
So it's in the movie 13 Going on 30 in 2004, which is a Jennifer Garner rom-com. Tells the story of a disillusioned teenager who wants nothing more than to fast forward to adulthood, only to realize it's not all it's cracked up to be. And so that's one of the reasons that movie is so popular. So this song becomes popular as well. And it's one of his most streamed songs. Taylor Swift paused a Milan concert over the weekend. This is the 3rd time on the Eras tour that she has swallowed a bug and has to pause the show. So when you work as hard as she does on stage and you do that many outdoor shows,
it's inevitable.
You're going to ingest some bugs.
Well, only 3.
It's the 3rd time she's had to pause the show. My guess is she's gotten a few gnats that she didn't necessarily have to stop for.
Alea knows that this mama has swallowed 2 bugs. So
On your Eras tour,
No,
you swallowed 2 bugs?
just in general.
Just in
So,
general.
I mean, go Taylor for less.
Sometimes it happens. So it was a dynamic weekend. Obviously, we started the show with the dynamic aspects of the weekend. But, you know, a lot of times we talk about we lose celebrities in threes. Sam, do you know who Dr. Ruth is?
I know the name, yes.
Okay. All right. I thought there was a really good chance you would not.
when I saw the headlines, I was like, oh, I think I've heard of her before, but I don't know if you would have just said Dr. Ruth, what is she? I don't know that I would have been able to tell you prior to reading the headlines whenever it was that she passed away.
What's so funny is because in the 80s, I'm not saying that her content was not legitimate or helpful, or I wasn't a consumer of her content. But I know what she was famous for, apparently, as being a doctor. But the way that she was packaged, like she was a grandma or a little old lady at that time, and she's giving advice on matters she was giving advice on, and so it just seemed funny, if you will, and especially with her accent and all those things. Anyway, Dr. Ruth passes over the weekend at age 96. Shannon Doherty, after a long battle, we lost her at age 53. I know her from 90210. Many people know her from Charmed. Then we lost Richard Simmons on Saturday, and he just on Friday did an interview that he said he was grateful to be alive, and he was going to celebrate big on Saturday, and he died just hours after, he died Saturday just after his 76th birthday. So sad. He's been, a recluse for quite some time, and then we heard of him recently. He was wanting to do that movie with. He didn't want Pauly Shore to do his biopic, and then he said it was probably okay if he did do it. So Richard Simmons goes on in at age 76. But then in some good news over the weekend, Stevie Nicks was performing in Hyde Park in London, and she brings out Harry Styles on Christine McVie's, what would have been her 81st birthday. And Harry and Stevie do Landslide together, and then they go on to do Stop Dragging My Heart Around. So Harry Styles was doing the Tom Petty part. So anyway, Harry Styles and Stevie Nicks paying tribute to Christine McVie on her 81st birthday. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. We'll figure out who wins the water cooler question. Got Chart Toppers, Point to Ponder, Pearl of Wisdom, and more coming up. You're on In the Know.
I have a question for the married man who's listening. Do you cherish your wife? You love her, sure, but do you cherish her? Some guys do, but some guys don't seem to understand what it means to cherish their wives. Let me explain it this way. If money were no object, what would your dream car be like? From the shiny paint to the finely tuned engine, you'd probably devote a good bit of attention to that car. You'd protect it from dents and potholes. You'd keep it washed and waxed, and you might only drive it on warm, sunny days. You'd be so proud of your car. You'd want everyone to see how much you value it and care for it. You might even think about your car when you're busy doing other things. Investing that much energy into a car can be enjoyable, but devoting that kind of passion to your wife, well, that can transform your marriage. When your wife feels cherished by you, her heart will come alive, and she'll be much more willing to invest herself into her relationship with you. And for all the guys who really don't know how to cherish their wives very well, there's great news. It's a skill you can develop. You can learn how to make your wife the center of your attention and affection. You can learn to take pride in your marriage and to build a relationship that's deep and meaningful. Don't settle for less. Ladies, tomorrow I'll share how you can cherish your husband and create the relationship you've always dreamed of. Until then, to help your marriage thrive, visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten. Without Trinity's support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
Your health is important to you. So when you find yourself face to face with sickness, your main concern is simply how to feel better. Well, rest assured, your feel better starts right here at Midway Pharmacy. It begins the moment you walk through our doors, where you're greeted by our friendly, knowledgeable staff, and continues on with special services like free delivery. So whether your goal is to maintain a healthy lifestyle or to overcome that untimely sickness, remember,
Your feel better starts here.
At Midway Pharmacy.
Congratulations on graduating, class of 2024. It's not too late to file the 2024-25 FAFSA. And even better, there's help. Every Wednesday in June from 2 to 4 local time, there will be over 75 locations where you can receive assistance submitting your FAFSA. Don't let this school year sneak up on you. Get FAFSA help soon. For more information and a list of locations, visit KentuckyGoesToCollege.com. Brought to you by this station and Kentucky Broadcasters Association.
MB's point to ponder for today. What are the most impersonated companies by scammers? What companies do scammers try to impersonate the most?
Not a company, but sheriff's office.
Yeah, that
I
happens
mean,
a lot.
it's not a company. And it's weird that they want to impersonate Norman, right?
I don't know.
Insurance
who would want to.
companies?
So the FTC says that it's Best Buy and Geek Squad.
Interesting.
Because that also includes email. A lot of times people will say, "Oh, we've detected a problem with your hard drive. You need to click right here, and we'll fix it for you." Amazon is second. PayPal is third.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to dollars stolen, consumers say they've lost far more money to scammers pretending to be from Microsoft and Publishers Clearinghouse than any other businesses.
Ooh, Publishers Clearinghouse is a good one.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones with the big check for however much money, right?
That's right. Unless Ed McMahon shows up at our front door, I won't believe we won the Publishers Clearinghouse.
Well, because I know, my grandma was a religious player of that.
Yeah. If for a long time it was the most famous one, and so that's one of the reasons they like to use it, is because people of a certain age have a whole lot of trust in it and interest, and it has familiarity as brand awareness, and so they think that's their in order to hurt people. The water cooler question was, it's most likely to happen in your home at 8 a.m.
Well, so I already know that mine are not correct. So my first one was mom yells.
All right.
My second one was mail runs.
Sam?
I put leave for work, thinking 9 to 5.
Okay. The correct answer is people fighting for time in the bathroom. People fighting over the bathroom is more likely to happen at 8 o'clock than any other time.
I don't have that problem.
But she asked me during the break, does this happen at our house? I said, never.
Well, and I couldn't come up with anything else.
That's right. So you can
pick a number between 1 and 6.
I'm going to go with 5.
5. So that is 7768.
Congratulations, 7768. On ABC tonight, The Bachelorette, The Home Run Derby is on ESPN, and on Discovery, Contraband, Seized at Sea. That's what you got to look forward to.
Will you watch the Derby tonight?
Maybe. I have, I started down the path to watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. I tried to start it probably 5 or 6 times. I wasn't that motivated to watch it until I realized how they did the finale. And once I learned how they did the finale, then I thought, okay, I maybe want to get there.
Okay, so I saw you watching it, and that's what I wanted to ask Sam. Sam, you have watched it, correct?
Maybe the first episode
Oh, okay.
of Curb Your Curb. Yeah, and that was and
that was it?
Yeah, and that was not as far as me not enjoying it or anything, it was more of just one of those things that you know how it gets. Something else pops up to watch, and then, and then something else comes after that, and I just never did go back to it. But I'm not saying that I wouldn't go back to it.
It was on in the background, and I did snicker or laugh at a few things.
You can see, watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, I'm into season 2 now, so I've seen the complete first season, and it changes a lot. You can tell it was successful in 1 and how they redressed it in 2. But you can see the influence of Larry David in Seinfeld so much greater once you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm.
And that's why I felt like you would probably enjoy it for that reason.
Listen, I can't believe how young his wife looks.
Cheryl Hines.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was 25 years ago.
Well, then there's that. Because I turned around to see who that was with the prescription and all that, and I thought, whoa.
Yeah.
She looks good.
Today's highlighted history of the state in 1799. I don't think they're really married. But they might be. I don't know. I've never looked to see.
His significant
Yeah.
other.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're actually an item on the show or if they're really an item. So it's shot like a documentary or just following Larry David around, but
they are not.
Really are.
They're not, no.
Do you remember her from other?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, he's married to somebody named Ashley Underwood.
In 1799, the Rosetta Stone was found.
Oh, yeah.
Birthdays today. Linda Ronstadt is 78. Ariana Huffington is 74. Jesse Ventura is 73. Kim Alexis is 64. Forrest Whitaker is 63. Brigitte Nielsen is 61. Brian Austin Green is 51. Ian Armitage is 16 today. So young Sheldon is 16, which one of the reasons that the show had to end, because young Sheldon was bumping into old Sheldon.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know till this morning that Ian Armitage is the voice of Chase in Paw Patrol the movie.
Oh.
So in case you ever watch that again, you go, oh.
Chase is on the case.
Today, see, the Gone But Not Forgotten. Rembrandt in 1606, Alex Karras in 1935. He played Mongo on Blazing Saddles. He was also Webster's dad on Webster.
His grandson is on the Bengals.
Alex Karras' grandson.
I think it's his grandson, his nephew. Ted Karras is the Bengals center.
Alex Karras played for the Lions, and then he was a sportscaster, and then he was on a sitcom. And he played Mongo in Blazing Saddles, which is my favorite role of his. And then Ken Kercheval from Dallas was number 1 in 1935. No, he was born in 1935. His parents thought he was number 1 in 35. Number 1 in 1950 was Nat King Cole and Mona Lisa. Most fans are on their way out. We'll see you back tomorrow.
Merry Monday, right, with Myron Metcalf.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Thank you, Nat. Let's go to 1959. Johnny Horton, number 1 with the Battle of New Orleans. It's a history lesson, surely, that none of us forgotten.
Thank you, Mr. Gray.
We took a little bacon and we took a little beans and we caught the bloody British in a town in New Orleans.
I mean, when you take an exam, what is the Battle of New Orleans famous for? And you say bacon and beans. I mean, it's a true story. Johnny Horton said so. 1968, the Rolling Stones, Jumpin' Jack Flash, number 1. 1, 2. 1, 2. He actually says, watch it. I said, 1, 2. Let's go to 1977. Barry Manilow, number 1. Looks like we made it. Okay, let's go to 1986. Genesis, Invisible Touch. I'm falling for her. We will jump forward by about a decade. Let's go to 1995. TLC, number 1. ...2004, Britney Spears, Every Time. We Can't Stop, Miley Cyrus, number 1 in 2013. And Harry Styles, As It Was number 1 in 2022. Harry Styles getting a lot of time on the show today. All right, MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today says, even if I don't reach all my goals, I've gone higher than I would have if I hadn't set any. Even if I don't reach all my goals, I've gone higher than I would have if I hadn't set any. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin Lakes, it's on K105.
WKHG, Litchfield.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Gianna Gelosi. The judge in the classified documents case dismisses the case against former President Donald Trump.
This is massive news. We did not see this coming at all. This is a case that she tentatively postponed to a later date. The original trial was set for the end of May. She moved it back a